his girlfriend was. She wasn't too worried, as the dog used to follow her around the house and sniff around. However, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, Logan let out a loud bark and jumped at her. The weight of the large German Shepherd took her by surprise, causing her to fall back onto the bed. She felt trapped beneath the animal, terrified and helpless, and began to scream in fear. Upon hearing the screams, Alex ran to the bedroom. Upon entering, he was shocked by the scene he found, unable to believe what was happening. When Alex and his girlfriend decided to take care of Logan, the dog he inherited from his friend Jonathan, they never imagined the situation would get out of control. It all started smoothly. Logan appeared to be a perfectly polite dog. However, Alex began to worry when Logan displayed strange behavior, frequently jumping on his girlfriend and not moving away from her. Faced with this, Alex decided to keep an eye on the situation, but what he discovered would change their lives forever. In the last few days that Logan stayed home, Alex watched his girlfriend closely. He wondered if there was something making the dog agitated around her or if there was an ulterior motive for this unexpected behavior. To seek further clarification, Alex decided to contact Jonathan, Logan's owner, to ask about the dog's behavior. To his surprise, Jonathan stated that this was completely out of character for Logan. He had never behaved like this when he was away from home. This revelation further increased Alex's curiosity and concern. Days passed and, one morning while preparing coffee, Alex noticed a message on his girlfriend's phone, which was on the kitchen counter. The message seemed suspicious, and despite trying to resist the temptation, his curiosity led him to unlock his phone and read the contents. To his confusion, the message was from an unknown number and said, "Alex can't know any of this." This message left Alex even more intrigued and worried about what his girlfriend could be hiding. As the days progressed, he continued to observe his girlfriend, trying to understand the situation more and more closely, and noticed that his girlfriend began to act more and more strangely. He noticed that she left the house at unusual times and seemed distant, disconnected in her interactions. Furthermore, Logan's behavior became even more disturbing. The dog jumped on her insistently, as if trying to draw her attention to something.
Alex began to wonder if the connection between his girlfriend's strange behavior and Logan's agitation. Uncertainty took over his mind, and he couldn't help but think that his girlfriend might be attracting some complicated situation, which would explain the several confusing clues he had found. At the same time, he wondered what could be happening to Logan. Jonathan, his friend, had left the country for a week, and Alex couldn't help but wonder if the dog missed him. This doubt only increased Alex's confusion and concern, who was increasingly determined to discover the truth. Alex was facing a difficult time. The confusion and mystery surrounding his girlfriend's behavior only increased by the day. He felt caught in a whirlwind of emotions and was determined to discover the truth, both about her and what was troubling his loyal friend Logan. As a result, Alex found himself increasingly involved in a web of secrets and intrigue, without knowing where it all could lead. It's important to mention that Jonathan had full trust in Alex to take care of Logan. They were longtime friends and had had many experiences together. Jonathan knew that Alex was a responsible and caring person, especially when it came to animals. However, Alex couldn't help but feel a little worried about his girlfriend's reaction to finding out Logan was home that week. Jonathan explained to Alex that Logan was a retired police dog who dedicated years of training to become an exemplary professional. He knew that Logan, his dog, was highly trained and well-behaved. There was no reason to worry about safety, but Alex's girlfriend had concerns that went beyond Logan's behavior. She felt a certain fear of larger dogs, especially the German Shepherd breed. Understanding her concerns, Alex decided to approach the topic carefully. He explained that even though Logan was a big dog, he was extremely friendly and gentle, and that there was no reason to be insecure. Furthermore, Alex was determined to show that caring for Logan could be an opportunity for his girlfriend to overcome her fear and establish a positive bond with the German Shepherd. After some encouraging conversations, Alex's girlfriend began to realize that Logan was actually a loyal and caring friend, and her view of him began to change. Alex introduced Logan gradually, allowing his girlfriend to get used to the dog's presence. He explained the entire training process Logan had gone through over the years that made him so obedient and affectionate. Over time, she began to feel more at ease. He soon realized that Logan was not threatening, as he had imagined, but rather a loyal and affectionate companion. As her interaction with Logan increased, Alex's girlfriend felt more and more comfortable in her new temporary home. Together, they shared special moments with the German Shepherd, playing in the backyard, taking long walks and even taking funny photos to record every moment of fun. The relationship between them was marked by affection and complicity. Alex realized that this experience not only helped his girlfriend overcome her fear, but also strengthened the bonds between everyone. He helped his girlfriend overcome her fears and at the same time strengthened the bond between them. To ensure Logan's well-being, he established some routines and ground rules. He carefully planned the activities so that the German Shepherd, who was very energetic, received the necessary exercise. Every morning, afternoon and evening, they went for a walk, exploring their surroundings and allowing Logan to burn off some energy. This created a happy and healthy environment, and his girlfriend was also happy to see the dog excited during walks. In the first few days, everything flowed smoothly, and the three were happy with the new dynamic. Logan had a lot of fun at Alex's house. The dog ran around the yard, exploring every corner and interacting excitedly with his new family. It was contagious to watch Logan's joy as he chased butterflies, being curious and playful. The positive energy that emanated from him brought happiness to everyone around him. Alex and his girlfriend often cruised the garden while watching Logan's acrobatics, enchanted by the dog's friendly and playful demeanor. However, this joy did not last long. Alex soon noticed that Logan started acting strangely. The German Shepherd's lively and outgoing behavior gradually diminished, and he began to display unusual behaviors that left everyone intrigued. After a few days of Logan's arrival, the couple began to notice these peculiarities. The dog started barking in the middle of the night and scratching at the bedroom door, as if wanting to draw attention to something that was bothering him. When Alex tried to take him out into the garden, thinking he needed to relieve himself, Logan refused to leave the house. This stubborn behavior was surprising, as he used to love the outdoors. The situation began to worry Alex and his girlfriend, who wondered what could be ailing the dog. Logan began behaving strangely, moving back and forth in front of the couch while his girlfriend watched television. On other occasions, he would sniff around for long periods of time, as if searching for something he couldn't find. This persistent observation left Alex and his girlfriend even more confused about what could be troubling the dog. German Shepherds are known for their intelligence, and Logan's unusual behavior left the couple worried. They wondered if something had occurred during the transition to the new home that might be affecting the dog's behavior. With Logan's health and well-being in mind, Alex decided to call Jonathan, the friend who had left the German Shepherd in his care, to discuss the situation. Jonathan, confused by the dog's behavior, tried to reassure Alex. He recalled that German Shepherds are very loyal dogs and attached to their owners, suggesting that Jonathan's separation could have impacted Logan in some way. Alex realized that the change of environment could have taken an emotional toll on Logan. This time, the dog was not in the company of the nanny he already knew, but in a new place with unfamiliar people, which could have caused discomfort. The sudden change in environment may have triggered the strange behaviors that Alex and his girlfriend noticed. Deciding to trust Jonathan's judgment, Alex waited. After a few days, Logan began to calm down and behave like a normal dog again. The duo felt relief, believing that everything was returning to normal. However, they did not know that this tranquility would be temporary. One morning, while Alex was getting ready, Logan entered the room where his girlfriend was. She didn't think much of it since the dog used to follow her around the house and sniff things. But suddenly, something very strange happened. Without warning, Logan let out a loud bark and jumped on Alex's girlfriend. The dog pushed her and she fell back onto the bed. She felt trapped under the weight of the animal, terrified, and began to scream in fear. The noise attracted Alex, who ran into the room. Upon seeing the scene, he was shocked and couldn't believe what was happening. Knowing the situation could be dangerous, Alex grabbed Logan by the collar and pushed him out of the room. He closed the door quickly, ensuring the dog couldn't get in again. Alex's girlfriend was in a state of hysteria, asking him to call Jonathan, Logan's caregiver, and asking them to take the dog away as quickly as possible. Alex, still shaken by what had happened, tried to contact his friend, but remembered that Jonathan had mentioned that he would have no signal on his cell phone for a few days and, other than Alex leaving Logan outside, there wasn't much else he could do. He felt bad about leaving the dog exposed to the wind and rain, especially since Logan hadn't hurt anyone. Maybe the dog was just playing and wasn't aware of its own strength. Still, Alex decided it was best to keep her distance from Logan, at least for a while. The problem, however, was that Logan refused to be away from his girlfriend. The dog became more and more affectionate, always trying to be close to her. He would often lie down next to him on the couch and even put his head on his legs, making Alex notice how the animal sought attention. He also noticed that Logan's behavior wasn't much different with Jonathan. This situation started to make Alex reflect on what could be causing such an intense reaction in the dog. Alex found Logan's behavior towards his girlfriend strange. He had never taken his girlfriend to Jonathan's house, so Logan shouldn't be that familiar with her. What bothered him most was that the dog only behaved differently towards his girlfriend, and not towards him. Based on previous conversations with Jonathan, Alex knew that Logan had been a police dog but was now retired after years of service. This made Alex wonder what kind of work Logan had done during his law enforcement career. Was he just a general security dog, or did he have some specialization, like being a drug-sniffing dog? Unable to contact Jonathan, Alex decided to start researching online about the types of jobs dogs were used for at airports. He was surprised by the information he found, revealing the diversity of functions these animals could perform. After learning about the functions of dogs, Alex began investigating cases of other retired police dogs. What he discovered was stunning, and he found himself exclaiming out loud, "This can't be possible." As he deepened his research into Logan's behavior, Alex began to realize that maybe the situation wasn't so strange after all. Over time, her suspicions shifted from Logan to Elena. He wondered if he was being paranoid, but the more he thought, the more confused he became. Unsure of what was really going on, he decided to keep his discoveries to himself, but decided to keep an eye on his girlfriend. After all, Logan's behavior was not typical of an ordinary pet dog, and Alex was determined to find out the truth. The next day, after hours of research on the internet, Alex began to notice changes in Elena's behavior. These changes only increased his concern and made him question the dynamic between her and Logan even more. Elena already had a habit of disappearing for several hours every day, and Alex always trusted her, without suspecting anything. However, after noticing the change in Logan's behavior and spending time researching online, he began to think the situation wasn't as simple as it seemed. He noticed that Elena avoided making eye contact and was more reserved, as if she had something to hide. Soon after receiving a strange message, his suspicions became more concrete.
Before we continue, I need to tell you something amazing. Do you want to attract a lot of money into your life? Learn how to do it with the secret content that I will leave in the first pinned comment, and start transforming your financial life. Let's continue.
A few days later, Elena informed Alex that she needed to pick up something in town. With an indifferent attitude, she left, and Alex decided to accompany her. He took Logan in the car and followed her to a gas station on the outskirts of town. The station was next to a bright and busy hotel. Alex parked and, while Logan was restless in the back seat, he watched the situation for a few minutes, trying to understand what was happening. Alex wondered where Elena was going. He felt guilty for watching her, but he couldn't help but worry about her behavior. Suddenly, he saw Elena walking behind the building, but unfortunately, he couldn't see where she was heading. She remained outside for more than half an hour and then got into her car, heading home hurriedly. Upon arriving home, Alex tried to greet Elena normally, without arousing suspicion. Even though he hadn't seen anything concrete or her with someone else, her action didn't make him feel safe. He knew he needed proof to confirm what he suspected, but since he had no evidence, he decided to remain silent about the situation. That night, Alex couldn't stop thinking about Elena's strange text message and secretive behavior. What would be the reason for her to act like this? Had she bought something she didn't want him to know about? These questions kept him restless, unable to rest. Alex wondered if Elena had bought something at the station next to the hotel, but the truth is that he saw her leave empty-handed. Who was the person mentioned in the message he had received? He couldn't figure this one out, and none of the possibilities seemed good. They all pointed to the possibility that she was deceiving him or, worse, trafficking some kind of contraband. After all, Logan had been a drug sniffer, and Alex was almost certain of that. He wanted to trust Elena. After all, she was still the woman he had fallen in love with. However, it was increasingly difficult to maintain that trust when she acted so secretly and hid from him. The situation became increasingly intriguing, and Alex found himself in a dilemma as to what to do next. He began to wonder if he should address his concerns with Elena that very day. It would certainly be better to talk and get some answers than to remain silent and let the situation escalate. Worried, Alex decided to broach the subject with Elena, but as soon as he started, she became very nervous and interrupted him. This reaction only increased his suspicions as it seemed like she was trying to hide something. Doubt and anxiety consumed him. He couldn't understand why Elena was behaving so strangely. His thoughts fluctuated between believing she was really hiding something and thinking he was being paranoid. After all, they have always had a strong relationship, based on trust. However, over time, Elena began to spend less and less time at home. Oftentimes, she wasn't there to feed Logan, which only complicated things. Logan, in turn, continued to behave affectionately, placing his head on Elena's legs every time she sat down, just as he did with Jonathan. This made Elena irritated and nervous, making her increasingly avoid the dog's presence. Things were quickly spiraling out of control, and Alex felt he needed to act. Elena's absence and Logan's change in behavior were clear signs that something was wrong. Alex found himself in an emotional dilemma, trying to balance his trust in Elena with the obvious evidence that something was going on. He wondered if he might be being betrayed, but he also berated himself for thinking so negatively about the person he loved. Elena started leaving the house every night, returning late, and when she was home, she remained glued to her phone, as if she were somewhere else. She claimed this was because of work. Alex wanted to believe that she was moving away from Logan to avoid discomfort, as she didn't like big dogs. However, something inside him wasn't completely convinced. The nights became long and lonely for Alex. He found himself scouring the internet for clues about suspicious behavior, trying to understand what was really going on. Uncertainty and distrust consumed him, as he searched for answers that seemed increasingly distant. Alex sank deeper and deeper into a spiral of doubts and insecurities. To try to distract himself, he decided to investigate more about Logan and his previous work at the airport. He decided to look for a police officer the dog had worked with, hoping to find someone who could clarify his suspicions about Logan's behavior. This investigation was driven by a desperate need to understand what was happening. Alex felt helpless in the face of events and sought any information that could shed light on the situation. However, uncovering details about Logan's past proved to be much more complicated than he imagined. The police force did not usually disclose this type of personal information to just anyone. Alex understood this reality, but the frustration of facing another dead end only increased his anguish. He felt trapped in a maze of uncertainty, not knowing how to move forward. Determined to uncover the truth about Logan and his girlfriend's strange behavior, Alex decided to strike out on his own. He was willing to face obstacles and rejections in his search for answers. This investigation took him to unexpected places and people who were unwilling to cooperate. Without thinking too much, Alex decided to go directly to the source, the airport. He wanted to find a member of the site's security to ask about a dog named Logan, who had worked there a few years earlier. However, his investigative mission did not go as planned. Alex soon faced suspicious looks and evasive answers. Asking too many questions about a security Doberman was considered strange and suspicious behavior. In less than half an hour, Alex had already been approached and questioned about his intentions, feeling increasingly frustrated. He realized that the search for information could be more complicated than he had imagined. Alex was forcefully thrown out of the airport after being warned several times to stop his questions as no one seemed to know what he was asking about. However, at this point, he didn't want to listen. The only thing I could think about was discovering the truth and finding answers somehow. However, things took a strange turn. Later that day, Alex arrived home after the fight at the airport and noticed that Elena wasn't there again. To make matters worse, Logan had chewed on one of the couch cushions. A wave of frustration invaded him when he saw the damage caused by the dog. "Logan, why did you do that?" he muttered to himself. He knew he couldn't blame the animal, but everything seemed to fall apart around him. Just as he was cleaning up the mess, his phone started ringing. The caller ID showed a private number, which left Alex intrigued and apprehensive. He hesitated, not knowing whether to answer or ignore the call. Alex felt a slight tightness in his chest when he answered the call. That call was the last thing he expected after the chaos of the day. Nervous but curious, he answered and heard a low male voice ask him, "Are you the guy who's currently taking care of a police dog named Logan?" Intrigued by the question, Alex wondered who could be looking for Logan. There was something strangely familiar about that voice. At times, it sounded like Jonathan's voice. However, he quickly ruled out this possibility, as Jonathan was on a business trip and had mentioned that he would be without coverage for a while. "Yes, that's me," Alex replied. The response was immediate, "You'd better stop poking around. What you're doing is above your head." The call cut off abruptly, leaving Alex in shock, staring at his phone. Who could this strange man be and why was he interested in Logan? Questions accumulated in his mind as the tension increased. He thought of all the people he had met recently, but no one seemed to fit the description of the voice he had heard. The call left a trail of uncertainty and fear in his mind. He was more uneasy than ever about the strange and threatening phone call. I couldn't shake the feeling that I recognized that voice. Was it possible that someone he knew was trying to keep him away? But why? Questions accumulated in his mind, while answers seemed further and further away. So many strange things were happening that Alex felt like he was going crazy. However, his determination to find the truth reassured him. He was determined to find out what was really going on, no matter what it took. To try and distract himself, Alex decided to take Logan for a long run, hoping that this would help calm his mind and that they would both be able to sleep well the next night. As he ran, he tried to organize his thoughts and find clarity amid the chaos. The run helped release some of the tension Alex felt, but his mind remained restless, searching for solutions to the mystery that surrounded him. When he finally arrived home, several hours later, he found his girlfriend waiting for him, visibly irritated by the state of the couch. She asked where he had been all day, and Alex, not wanting to tell the whole truth, replied vaguely that he had gone for a run. Elena, however, soon pointed out that he hadn't done that all day. How ironic, Alex thought, and his frustrations rose abruptly. He felt pressured by the circumstances and by the distrust that Elena seemed to have towards him. She was angry that he didn't tell the whole truth, while lately, she herself had been acting so suspiciously. Alex couldn't help but feel resentful towards Elena. How could she treat him like this? Tensions rose between the two, and the argument soon turned into a fight, mainly over Logan. The bigger problem was slowly emerging, almost demanding that Alex know why Elena had gone to that hotel alone. Logan also seemed to sense the tension in the air, and his agitated behavior increased the intensity of the argument. While Alex and Elena argued, Logan began pacing the room nervously, his ears perked up. Suddenly, he quickly headed towards the master bedroom, interrupting the fight. Elena and Alex looked at each other, surprised. Although she was nervous, Elena knew something must be very wrong for Logan, a police dog trained for safety and obedience situations, to act like that. The animal's strange behavior aroused concern from both. Alex, always careful and responsible, realized that the situation was serious. He knew he needed to act promptly to ensure the safety of everyone in the house. With tension rising and doubts hanging in the air, he prepared to investigate what was happening, determined to protect those he loved. Alex ordered Elena to climb the stairs for safety, but she refused to abandon him, clinging to his arm. I felt like something horrible was about to happen. Logan's intense barking and frantic scratching at the door increased the tension in the room. As Alex reviewed the security camera recordings, his terror only increased when he noticed an unknown man quickly walking out the back door. The lack of internal monitoring of the house was a bitter regret. Now, he faced a dangerous situation without having a clear view of the attacker. He knew he couldn't allow the situation to spiral further out of control. Amid the adrenaline, he made a crucial decision: call the police. With Logan still agitated and his own anxiety growing, Alex realized he couldn't handle this alone. Elena's safety and his own depended on acting quickly. The decision to call the police was the most sensible one at that time. In addition to ensuring their safety, Alex hoped that the police presence would intimidate the intruder and, who knows, make Elena finally tell the truth she had been hiding for so long. Meanwhile, Elena remained at Alex's side, holding his arm firmly but feeling confused and unsure about her actions. She noticed that her boyfriend had been behaving strangely the last few days, which worried her even more. Did her attitude have anything to do with the secret she carried? This secret was a sensitive issue in Elena's life, something she guarded closely. Although she knew it was important to tell Alex the truth, the fear of the impact it could have on their relationship was overwhelming. They had built a strong and solid relationship over time, and the idea of risking everything because of a secret made her distressed. The idea of losing Alex because of a secret seemed unbearable to Elena. Deciding to face the situation hand in hand with him, she chose to remain by his side. She knew that their love and trust for each other were strong enough to overcome any challenge. The loyalty and complicity they shared were fundamental pillars in their relationship, and she was determined to face that difficult time together. As silence settled in after the barking stopped, Elena decided to check the situation for herself. He walked silently to the stairs, still hearing Alex's voice on the phone. He appeared to be in contact with someone, and Elena assumed it was the police, reporting the unknown man they had seen leaving their house. Although Alex's initial reaction may have seemed exaggerated, Elena understood that he was just trying to protect them both. Heart racing, she braced herself for what might happen next, determined to support Alex while at the same time pondering whether it was the right time to finally share her secret. Elena was taking their safety seriously as she waited by the stairs. A whirlwind of thoughts ran through her mind, but she knew she would soon find out what was happening. Looking out the window in search of the man who had disappeared, Alex didn't notice that Elena was listening intently to their conversation from the top of the stairs. His gaze was lost in the landscape, trying to find any trace of the mysterious invader that had stalked the house. Meanwhile, Elena's heart was beating fast, worried for Alex's safety and fearing the worst. After a few minutes of agonizing waiting, police sirens finally echoed through the neighborhood. Although there were still no signs of the stranger, Alex knew he needed to act quickly to protect his home and his loved one. Having made up his mind, he decided to show the authorities the images captured by the external camera. As he prepared to explain the situation, he thought about how the authorities would react to what he had seen. The tension was rising, and he was ready to do whatever was necessary to ensure the safety of Elena and himself. The police presence brought a mix of relief and anxiety to Alex, whose mind was in turmoil, worried about what might happen next. Soon, 2 police officers arrived at the house, alerted to the presence of a possible intruder. With adrenaline running through his veins, Alex tried to explain the entire situation in a coherent and precise way. While telling what happened, he also shared his concerns with Elena, who was in the room upstairs, accompanied by her faithful dog Logan, who sniffed around. Elena, in turn, decided to go downstairs, feeling a little safer with Logan's comforting presence by her side. However, Alex's urgent words brought her back to reality. The police wanted to talk to her. A lump formed in his throat, and his mind filled with worries and questions about what was happening. As she went down the stairs, she was greeted by the 2 police officers, who looked at her seriously. The atmosphere was charged with tension, and Elena knew she needed to be honest to help resolve the situation. The police officers looked at Elena with expressions of confusion and suspicion. A shiver ran down her spine as she tried to contain her anxiety and understand what was happening. With a trembling voice, Elena asked Alex about the reason for that unexpected visit, wondering if it was related to the man he had found in the house. Alex's response was a devastating turn of events. He confessed to calling the police due to her increasingly strange behavior, even mentioning that Logan, his loyal dog, used to be a drug sniffer at the airport and was reacting to her in a way that suggested something familiar. The news hit Elena like a punch in the stomach, leaving her perplexed and hurt by the baseless accusations. Tears threatened to escape her eyes as she felt invaded and betrayed. How could Alex think she would be involved with drugs? How could he draw such drastic conclusions without knowing the truth? Elena felt a wave of outrage and pain, struggling to find the right words to defend herself. Elena felt hurt and outraged by the lack of trust Alex was showing, especially by invading her privacy by checking her messages and her hotel visits. Emotions were overflowing inside her, but she knew she needed to be strong and face the situation head-on. Having made up her mind, she decided it was time to reveal the truth, at least part of it, to clarify the unfounded suspicions and clear up the misunderstanding. With a deep sigh, she sank into a chair, summoning all the courage she had. Explaining their past actions and decisions would not be easy, but it was necessary to rebuild the shattered trust between them. Elena took a deep breath, preparing to tell her most intimate and vulnerable story, hoping that Alex could understand and forgive her actions. After all, trust was the foundation of any relationship, and she was determined to restore it, even if it meant facing her deepest fears. Elena was willing to take on the challenge of rebuilding trust between them, overcoming misunderstandings and difficult times together. Determined to tell the truth, she remembered the years they spent together without hiding anything. She felt hurt by the accusations and the invasions of her privacy. When she explained to Alex that her absence was due to a slight suspicion of pregnancy, he noticed the surprise on her face. Elena noticed that Alex was reflecting on Logan's strange behavior towards her. Perhaps the dog had become attached to her and was therefore so protective. As for the text message that Alex had seen, Elena tried to clarify that there was no big deal. After all, people joke all the time when they have nothing productive to do. In fact, that day, she had not gone to the hotel, but to the gas station just below to take a pregnancy test. To his surprise, his intuition was correct, she was pregnant. The revelation brought a tumult of emotions, and Elena hoped that by sharing this truth she could dispel suspicions and strengthen their connection. Elena was pregnant, but was afraid to tell Alex. Her family had a history of miscarriages, and she decided to wait until the dangerous phase before revealing the news. If I had known before, I would have had a serious conversation with him. The most important thing was that they would have a son. The atmosphere in the room was charged with tension when she finished speaking, and the two police officers just exchanged silent glances with each other. Alex, upon hearing Elena's words, felt terrible thinking about her accusations. The police officers, although impressed by the situation, congratulated them, wishing them a long and prosperous life, and quickly left the house. As for the mysterious man, Alex had already forgotten and considered him just a thief, as long as he reinforced the monitoring of the house to avoid problems in the future. Logan, who was next to Elena wagging his tail, seemed to understand the importance of the moment, bringing a little comfort amid the tension. The revelation had changed everything, and now it was time to face this new phase together. The situation between Alex and Elena was, after all, clearer after the pregnancy was revealed. She hoped that they could overcome the confusion and that everything would work out in the future. The story raises several intriguing questions. Who really was that person leaving Alex's house? And could it be that, in the end, the truth about all this lay with Logan? Regarding Elena's attitude, it is understandable that she felt pressured to hide the pregnancy, given her family history. However, keeping secrets in a relationship can lead to misunderstandings. Maybe, if I were in her position, I would have tried to be more open from the beginning, even though I knew it was a delicate situation. If you liked this exciting story, leave a like on this video, subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell. By doing so you won't miss our next video. A big hug and see you next time.